Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hurricane Havoc. I'm your host, Reegan MacAulay. There's a lot to get to in this one as the Holland Hurricanes return to Atlantic Collegiate Athletic Association winter season action this past weekend, pulling off 3 wins, including a successful basketball Sunday at the McMillan Centre in Charlottetown. Now, before we get into the recaps and the previews, we have some very important news and information to share. This week's Holland Hurricanes Athletes of the Week are men's volleyball second-year setter Tyler McBride and women's basketball rookie center Sarah Nyhouse. Last Saturday, McBride recorded 41 assists, 3 digs, 2 service aces, and a kill against UMBSJ. On Sunday, Nyhouse recorded 14 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal against UKC. Both performances contributed to wins for both teams, so congratulations to both Tyler and Sarah on their achievements. Recently, we announced that Saturday, February 3rd is going to be none other than Volleyball Alumni Day. So, we're going to be inviting all former Holland Hurricanes volleyball players to be a special guest to the women's and men's games against the St. Thomas University Tommies at the McMillan Centre here in Charlottetown. Lastly, a friendly reminder to check out our recent story featuring men's basketball player Bryce Corliss and multiple other voices who talk about the upcoming ACAA basketball championships in March. And tickets for the championships are going to be on sale very soon, so be on the lookout to get them as soon as possible so you are prepared and pumped up for some incredible basketball action at the McMillan Centre in early March. And thus, we now move on to team coverage, beginning with the women's volleyball team, where the Canes went on a road trip to St. John, New Brunswick to play the 3-8 University of New Brunswick St. John Seawolves, who saw revenge after losing to Holland 3-1 back in November. The Seawolves indeed got revenge, unfortunately, in what was still an exciting match in St. John, upsetting the Hurricanes 3-1. The game was intense right off the bat, as UMBSJ did have the hotter start in the first set, but Holland rallied back to take the second set, and the Canes looked to have the third set clutched, but the Seawolves caught them off guard with a wild late comeback. The fourth set was a similar case as Holland jumped to an early lead, but UMBSJ fought back, knowing their season was on the line. Thus, the Seawolves won 3-1 with a valiant effort. Mason Baby led the Canes with 11 kills, while Maya Yatrosa added 9 kills and 10 digs. The Canes dropped to 6-6 and are currently tied for 4th in the conference. Holland ventures forward looking for better luck on the road as they will head over to Truro, Nova Scotia on Saturday to play the Dalhousie Agricultural Campus Rams, and then on Sunday they will visit Moncton, New Brunswick to play the Crandall University Chargers. Dalhousie is 4-7, while Crandall is 3-8, and both teams have yet to beat Holland this season. Saturday's game is at 2 p.m., and Sunday's game is at 1 p.m. Let's move on now to men's volleyball, where the men also played the UMBSJ Seawolves in St. John, but they would fare better with a close 3-1 win. The first set was back and forth for quite some time, from Holland leading 12-7 and UMBSJ tying the score 14-14, to Holland then hanging on 27-25. UMBSJ appeared to have the second set in hand, leading as much as 18-8, but Holland found hope after a timeout with 12 points, closing the gap to 4. The Canes tried one more timeout, but UMBSJ abruptly ended the set right after. Holland barely held on in a roller coaster of a third set and maintained control in the fourth set, eventually taking the game 3-1. Outside hitter Carson Gray dominated the game with 15 kills, which has continued to be his shining stat in the conference, as he's 3rd in kills per set and 4th in kills. The Canes improved to 6-4 and maintained second place in the conference, now 4 points behind first place. Next up, just like the women's volleyball team, a road trip, except the men are going to play just 1 game compared to the women's 2. The men will also play the Crandall University Chargers in Moncton, where the men's Chargers are 1-8 and have yet to beat Holland. Transitioning now to basketball, where we begin with the women's team, which is now on a 2-game win streak after a strong effort against the University of King's College Blue Devils at the McMillan Centre. Holland had a dominant start to the game, jumping out to a 13-3 lead, and UKC tried closing the gap, but only managed to be as close as 3 points mid-quarter. Holland added 33 points in the second quarter, leading 54-33 at halftime, and if we did count the third and fourth quarters alone, UKC did fight back and made things close, but in a nutshell, knowing how the first half of the game went with them, yeah, it wasn't even close. Final score, 99-72 for the Holland Hurricanes. The usual names you'd hear from the teams are the ones to lead the way, as Lauren Armstrong, Amy Plagenhoof, and Alexa Rancourt combined for 49 points. Robin Driscoll also got into the headlines as 9 of her 14 points were just in the second quarter alone. The Canes improved to 6-6 and maintained 4th place in the conference. Visiting the McMillan Centre on Saturday will be the UMBSJ Seawolves, who are 3-9 and have yet to beat Holland. Oh my gosh, I've said that so many times in this one. On the road on Sunday, Holland will head to Mount Allison, who is 8-3 and beat Holland twice in the first half of the season. Both games are at 2 p.m., now on to men's basketball, where this team has stolen the headlines in this half of the season because, quite frankly, they are the hottest team in the Holland Hurricanes department at the moment. 3 wins in a row after a rough first half of just 3 wins and 6 losses, and now they're 6-6. Clearly, this team has vowed to prove to people that it's better than what the stats showed in the first half. And just remember the last episode. Bryce Corliss said it's best to not get caught up in the statistics. The UKC Blue Devils were unable to stop Holland's hot streak when they visited the McMillan Centre on Sunday, as Holland won 78-60. The game can be described in 3 words: streaks, momentum, and inconsistency. A lot of it. Holland started strong, up 8-0, and then UKC made an 11-point comeback. Then Holland scored 8 straight points and dominated the second quarter, and then UKC took charge in the third quarter. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, the Hurricanes never looked back in the fourth quarter, sealing the deal 78-60. Thank goodness. Aaron Simmons led the Hurricanes with 26 points, while Bryce Corliss added 16, and rookie Zachary Dawkins added 11 points and remains hot to begin his Hurricanes career, totaling 34 points in this recent 3-game win streak. Just like the women's basketball team, the men will also experience home and away games this upcoming weekend, facing UMBSJ at the McMillan Centre on Saturday and visiting Mount Allison on Sunday. The men's Seawolves team is 4-8 and are 1-1 against Holland so far, while the men's Mounties are 4-7, and I get to say this one more time, have yet to beat Holland this season. I've said that so many times. Both game times are at 4 p.m., by the way. 4 p.m. All right, back on a serious note, one more sport to cover. Women's hockey. It's been some time since the women's hockey Hurricanes have been in action, December 2nd through 3rd to be exact. The 2023-2024 Atlantic Collegiate Hockey Association season continues this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, as the Hurricanes will visit a familiar rival in the Acadia University Axe women. Holland will look to stir up a storm in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, and claim redemption after earning just 1 point in the home opening doubleheader back in November. Currently, the Canes have 2 wins, both against Cape Breton, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Former UPI Panther Taylor Gillis leads the team with 3 goals and 5 points in 5 games. As for Acadia, the Axe women have won all 4 of their games and are well on their way to taking back the ACHA crown. But of course, the Canes are going to make sure that's not going to happen. I would certainly hope so. Saturday's game time is at 5:25 p.m. Oddly specific time, that's for sure. And on Sunday, game time is at 2 p.m. This was Hurricane Havoc. I'm your host, Reegan MacAulay, signing off, and I will see you on the other side, and remember to fear the storm.